Okay, I believe we are live. So good to see you, Jenny. We really don't talk except for when we're on the call here, right?
Yeah, I think we're just so busy, aren't we? You
And
know?
the time difference between New Zealand and Kenya. Anyway,
Yes.
we've got a very special guest today. Our first guest, Ted Shaw. He's going to come in a wee while. We'll do a meditation first, and he's goodness, he's a fire magician. He's a soul artist, and I already know this is going to be amazing. Yeah, he's got so many perspectives on life that are really, really useful to us.
Yeah.
But first, what I'd like to do is talk about things breaking. So things in my life have broken. Has anything broken for you, Jenny? Or
Oh
for
my
you
goodness,
on
it
the
has.
YouTube? That reaction is what I'm getting these days from everybody.
Yeah.
And I've had a jug break and a glass bowl break, and they're Pyrex. And so they break into all these tiny little bits. I've had the blade of a knife break. Then I've had a visitor. She was going to come with a thermos full of tea. Well, the thermos broke. Then she went
Wow.
back home and used another thermos. Well, that second thermos broke too on the same day within hours.
Wow.
Then I was talking to a friend and she was telling me about an expensive harp breaking.
Wow.
What broke for you, Ginny?
Well, our printer here just would not print for me. And I got so frustrated trying to get it to go. And it was something important that I needed there and then. You know, it always happens like that, doesn't
Right?
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I had to go, right, that's it. We need a new printer. So I had to go into town and get a new printer. That was one thing. My bulb that I use for, oh, actually, we've had quite a lot. The bulb that I use for my physical mediumship group, which is a red bulb, that all busted. It's a smart bulb that you can dim and everything. That broke. So the last two physical mediumship things, I've had to have a bright bulb, which is it's still, you could still see the transfiguration, but not as much. Um, oh my goodness, there's so many things that have broken. We had a power cut the other day, which blew things in the house. There's a lot. And it seems like since the beginning of the year, it's like all old things are breaking down in the world, as well as, you know, things that are no longer needed, including home, things that are getting old or are a bit ancient or whatever, things that we might have had a long time, um, seem to be breaking down so the new can come in. So I'm going with that energy that the old has to go so we can get the new in. Um, so that's what the energy I'm going with, because you can see it happening around the world too. The old stuff is coming to light, breaking down, and the new energy is, you can feel the momentum of it, can't you, starting to
Yeah.
roll forward. Yeah, so that's the way
Well,
I'm
it's
taking the breakdowns.
well, it's definitely a new something coming in, a new energy. Now, my glass bowl was new, and that jug was
Oh,
new too.
yeah.
And it shatters into so many minuscule things.
Yes.
You can't put it back together again.
Yes.
It's completely shattered, and there's no way you can go back. You
No.
have to go forward. You have to let go of it.
Yes.
It's like going through a portal into something new. And we
Yes.
know that's also one of the things when something breaks, we say we're breaking a pattern. We
Yeah.
cannot go back to the old pattern. We cannot go back to the old ways.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm really curious to see what has been breaking for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, as we're going to do a meditation and then we'll bring in Ted. So proprioception. Proprioception is our sense of where we are in our environment and our sense of how we move in our environment. So as I'm sitting here, I know I can almost feel a wall behind me. I can feel the room. If I were outside, I can feel a tree, and I know not to walk into the tree, and I can move my hand. So there's that spatial awareness. Now,
Yes.
what people used to have is spatial awareness that goes beyond just the room that we're in, but spatial awareness in the universe. Where are we in the universe? And I was just reading about a meeting between a Kalahari Bushman, one of the very, very original people in this world, and him meeting a white man. And the Kalahari Bushman was so astonished that the white man could not hear the planets.
Oh, wow. Wow.
The white man had no idea where he is. So, where's the sun now? Can we point in which direction the sun is? Do we know where the moon is? Can we point in that direction?
Yeah.
And I think that places like Stonehenge, or in New Zealand, that very, very special place that you and I went to, the Cross House,
Yes.
where they talk about knowing where the stars is, and you connect to the universe, and in that way you receive knowledge by connecting to the universe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's how we get downloads, isn't it? By connecting into that universal space, which holds all information, including where we are in the planet and everything. And you're right. Western society has actually lost all that. We've lost that connection to nature, to the universe, to all information that we can tap into. And it's only, I mean, even I can get lost in the matrix when I'm out and about, and unless I bring myself back and go, hang on a minute, let's just, come back to me and my connection with everything. What's popped into my head is that you can gain information by touching things. Like I find it easy if I say I'm going somewhere different that I've not been before, or that I want to find out a bit of the energy of the land. I can put my hand on a tree and I ask the tree to show me something of its history, because of course they've been there hundreds of years, a lot of them. So I ask the tree to just show me a vision, because I'm a seer, so I see things. And quite often the tree will show me something that it is witnessed over time. So like one time I went to McLaren Falls here, that you've been to, I'm sure you went when you were here.
Yes.
And we were climbing over the rocks, and I put my hand on this fairly big tree, and I said to the tree, can you show me something that you have witnessed over these falls? Well, a lot of things I know has happened over those falls, but I didn't see that. But what the tree showed me was an indigenous man with a loincloth on, bending down, and it looked like he was had some sort of shellfish or shells, and he was doing something on the rocks there. And so it's amazing how you can connect in past, present, or future once you're connected to that space. And sometimes having something to help you, like the tree was helping me at that time, can help too. But we can all do it, and we've lost it here. And you can see that people are not going back to spatial awareness. When I'm walking through the supermarket or through a shop, or even out on the road, you can see that people are not aware of what's going on around them at all. There's so many car accidents on the road. There's people bumping into other people in shops and things. It's like they're in their own little headspace, and then they've completely blotted out. They've just tunnel vision of where they've got to go and what they've got to do, and not seeing anyone else. It's fascinating to watch, actually.
And that's one of the messages too that comes with things breaking. Pay attention. Pay attention.
Yeah.
It was, yes. And I needed to, with all these things breaking, I really needed to pay attention to certain things in my life. And
Yeah.
in about a week's time, I'll be teaching divine intervention, this healing course from the Mayans. And one of the things we do is fire walking. Again, pay attention.
Yeah.
Walking on shards of glass walking, and other things. It's always about, you've got to pay attention. You've got to pay 100% attention.
Yes. Yeah.
So let's go into the meditation.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's close our eyes. The point of meditation is so that we get our brain waves to be in an alpha state where everything is easy and relaxed. Easy, just thinking of easy. And with that, those alpha brain waves, it is easier to connect with everything and all. It's peaceful. And it's easy to connect with the earth. As we have these brain waves, these alpha brain waves that are around about 8 hertz, we connect to the resonance of the Schumann frequency or the earth. Let's see if we can just resonate with the earth. Perhaps we can feel our heart. Perhaps we can feel our brain resonating in tune with the earth. And once that click has happened, and you feel you're in tune with the earth, see if there's a smell, a fragrance that comes with it. Perhaps there's a color that comes with it, or a shape, or a certain feel. And we anchor that in and know that we are on earth. We are on this planet, making this part of our proprioception, our awareness. And then we can come into resonance with the sun that gives us life, makes things grow, nourishes us. Tuning into the frequency of the sun, just like we did with the earth. Tuning our brain waves to sync with the sun, our heart waves to sync with the sun. And once that clicks, see if there's a fragrance, a color, a shape, and a feel. Can you sense where, in relation to where you are, Where is the sun? Now we have tuned to the earth and tuned to the sun. And we'll do one more tuning to the center of our galaxy. Tuning in with our brain waves to the center of our galaxy. Some people call it the central sun. Tuning in with our heart waves to resonate with the center of the galaxy. Here we are beyond our sense of time. There's no seasons as we know them. There's no day and night as we know them. For that, timing depends on us rotating around the sun. So here we are, resonating with the center of the galaxy. What's the fragrance? Perhaps it's one that we don't even know on Earth. What's the color? Perhaps again, it's a color that we cannot see with our eyes. What's the shape? Which might be multidimensional. What's the feel? Really tuning in, resonating with the center of our galaxy. Perhaps you can sense where in relation to yourself that center of the galaxy is. And now that we've raised our awareness, we can keep that awareness and still come back to where our body sits, connecting to our body while still aware of the universe. You can open your eyes, you can put your fingertips on your chair or the earth and enjoy that extended feeling. And talking about fires and glass walking, this is the moment to bring in Ted Shaw. Ted, are you there? Yes. Good day to you, Ted. Please unmute so that we can hear your wonderful voice.
Now you can hear me.
Now we can hear you.
Now.
Hi.
Well, Ted, it's absolutely wonderful to have you here. Last time I saw you was 11 years ago.
Man, that's I remember. Yes, and I'm so honored that you invited me to be a guest on your podcast.
Oh, well, my goodness, this is an absolute must.
Yeah.
That's for me.
It's, well, do you want to say how we met?
Ma'am?
Would you like to share how you and I met?
You and I met at a firewalking instructor training in Hawaii.
Yes, an executive firewalking training. And what I remember was that I was in a completely unusual space for me. There were mostly men, of course, mostly CEOs of companies with several hundred employees.
Mhm.
We were doing executive firewalking. So it was all, and you and I, we connected because, well, we had, how should I say that? We had a different connection. We were able to speak about things that were magical, that were wondrous, about states of mind and states of being. And I remember distinctly observing you. So of course we were building these fires, and you would be there making these movements and making the flames dance.
Yeah.
And not many people, I don't think anybody really saw it except for me. You spoke to the fire and you moved with the fire and you made the flames go bigger and smaller, just however you wanted that to happen.
It's a union. It's a connection with an elemental force of nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once you have that connection, then it's a partnership. You become equal. It's not a matter of petitioning or trading or bargaining or anything like that. You become one with the elemental forces of nature. And then, oh, hey, there we are.
Yep, 11 years ago. Here you are, here I am, with some of the participants who came from all over the world.
They
from
did.
Australia to Egypt to Turkey to South Africa.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's the fire burning away, ready for the firewalk.
Yes, yes, yes. That was amazing. That was an amazing event.
So we were talking about things breaking and how to that we need to pay attention. And that really fits right in with firewalking. Paying
Yes.
attention, and the fire being our teacher, glass walking, and I'll actually be doing many of these things next week. And
Good.
you just did them two weeks ago, didn't you? You were leading a course or participating in a course.
Yes, it was a firewalking instructor training in the southern tip of Baja California.
Mm-hmm. So the reason why we've got you on is because you're also an artist, and the song that is part of our introduction and outro,
yes,
comes from you, and I want to hear the story of that. I mean, you shared it with me, right? And that's why I've had it on my computer for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I always loved listening to it. It's one of my favorite songs. It's a happy song. But I want to hear what's behind it, the Shining Lemurian. Tell us.
I'd love to tell you. This goes way back years before you even got your copy of it. I was moved, impressed upon, nudged by the great mystery, the universe, to put on a workshop. The purpose of the workshop was to help people get in touch with their creative expression. We all have it, but so many of us have had it dulled or suppressed because it's just many reasons. Anyway, well, I wanted to bring that up in people. And I was talking to a friend of mine and telling her about this workshop that I was going to produce. And she said, well, you know Sangeeta? I said, yeah, I do. I've been to one of her workshops. She said, it'd be great. You partner up with her. She'd be a real asset. So I took her up on it, contacted Sangeeta, and she was just really excited about the proposition. She's a musician, recording artist, and she's on to another project right now. But we got together, and while we planned that out and laid out all the logistics and everything, I believe it was her that offered to the idea that, what about if we came up with a song for the workshop? Well, I was open to it. So we did a little meditation and waited. And words started coming to me. And I scribbled the words down, and a tune, a melody came to Sangeeta. And she's very skilled on the guitar. She picked up a guitar and she kind of started working this melody in with the words. And it was amazing what came out on paper and out of her instrument, what channeled through us. I mean, it literally channeled through us. Because when I left there, late at night, I left there, I was driving home. When I got home, I got on the computer and I'm looking up Lemurian. What is Lemurian? Now, neither she nor I had any idea what Lemuria was or Lemurians or what this item was in this song. And lo and behold, this is an ancient civilization prior to Atlantis. They were creative, they were artistic, they were just, to borrow an expression from the 60s, it blew our minds. This is amazing. And at that time, we were both in a financial situation where we just couldn't, we didn't have a lot of play money. But Sangeeta made arrangements for someone with a recording studio to let us in there and record this piece. I was supposed to be there helping with the vocals with Sangeeta, but circumstances came up that just was not possible for me to be there. So she did everything herself. But if you'll notice the music, she was the only one in the recording studio creating the music and the vocals. She's very talented, very talented. So that's the story. That's where it came from. And she and I have shared this music piece all over the place. And I mean, people start crying when they hear this because it touches on a memory.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's magical. It really is.
So do you have anything to say about the words? It happened on that day. You took out your colors and your ink and your clay. You painted a picture on an image of the one you thought you were.
Mm-hmm. Well, it just, we opened up a channel somehow. We opened up a channel with the intention of our workshop helping. The purpose of the workshop was helping people to remember their natural ability to express themselves artistically, creatively, and all that kind of stuff. So the song, the lyrics was just a really powerful acknowledgement from the great mystery that worked right in with our intention for our workshop.
I love
And on that magical day, I gave you the wand of the wizard and you waited around, creating the sound of your own soul.
We are all wizards. Some of us have remembered it more than others, but the whole world is waking up.
Yeah.
It's happening way before COVID. I've got students all over the world, and I was hearing all kinds of reports about, I never thought Charlie would ever be anything spiritual. And now he's questioning and he wants to know this and he wants about meditating. And then there's Linda over here on that part of the world. There was a tsunami of awakening building around the planet.
Yeah.
And COVID actually energized.
It's wonderful, isn't it, too, that the awakening actually is so connected to the creative inner being and creativity. And that's, they actually started to try and shut that down in schools. They actually, in Britain and here in New Zealand, they started to stop art, pottery, all those creative subjects to try and dumb that down, but they will never succeed with that because we're natural creative beings if we allow it to flow.
Yes.
So yeah, it's wonderful.
I have a little metaphor for people who come to me and they're all depressed and sad about all the darkness and things. It's just gonna. I said, hold on a minute. Imagine if you could do this, if you could build a room and this room would have, block the windows, block the doors, block every source of external light. Now that's a dark room. Imagine in the middle of the table, in the middle of the room is a small table, and on the table is a very small little birthday cake candle. I'm going to light the candle and invite you to fill the room, fill it up with as much darkness as you possibly can. I want you to put enough darkness in that room to put out that candle.
Talking about birthdays, it's your birthday, Ted.
Oh, it is, isn't
Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. But you see, the example is you're not going to put out the light, and you're not going to put out the darkness. And the darkness can't put out the light. It can't do it. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the darkness is there for a purpose, and it's having its way now.
Ted, when I listened to that song, and I've listened to it so often, and I was there, the shining Lemurian. Yes, I was there. Mm-hmm. Who is the I? Who is the shining Lemurian?
We are. We are.
Yeah.
There's a legend of the Merlins. The Merlins, we go back to that part of the world where the Druids practiced their modalities. They were connected to the elemental forces of nature. They were healers and teachers and all that sort of thing. And then there was a force that moved across that part of the world. And you'll read and hear, well, they disappeared. They went into the woods. They went into the forest. And that's partially true. They did, but they became the forest. They became the trees. Until such time as they were needed to come back. This is that time.
Yes, it is.
Talking about Druids, this is so interesting. I visited Ginny in New Zealand, and I started to learn what happened. The Druids were in New Zealand, and it's hardly known to anybody. It's suppressed. So these white skinned people with red hair, some of them, were there before the Maori, and they were peaceful. And you can find the artifacts there. And I thought, my goodness, to find peace, sometimes we have to go to the end of the world.
It is fascinating, the history here. I don't know if you've ever visited New Zealand, but if you ever get the chance, please do come. The nature here, there's something about the nature here that is so special and alive and with life force. It's the first thing because I'm originally from the UK, as you can probably tell from my accent. But the first time we actually set foot on New Zealand and we drove from the airport to the hotel, all the bushes on the side of the road, the plants and the bushes, were like beaming out this light, and I could see it. And I was going to the family in the car, can you see that on the plants? And they're going, what? We can't see anything. But to me, it was like the life force was just beaming out here. So, and I've had many interactions with nature beings here, and it's been absolutely fascinating and beautiful as well at the same time. And of course, New Zealand is part of Lemuria, isn't it? I didn't know that before I came here, but that after I came here, I found that out that they call it Zealandia. Apparently, New Zealand, now we're living on the mountains. The rest of it, the water just came over. And this is part of Lemuria as well, with Lemurian energy. And you can feel it. You can actually feel it here too.
Yeah, and absolutely, the light is different in New Zealand, and there's a lot of people with zero negative blood there. There's so much there. But Ted, tell me more about what you know about the Druids.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. How much time do we have?
Oh, we can have, for me, it would be all night. So it's, for you, it would be all day. There's no limit to this podcast.
Well, let me see. I don't know how, let me start with King Arthur.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that King Arthur was a wizard. He was a student of Merlin.
That's right.
Merlin was a druid. But more than that, Merlin was not one person. Merlin was a group of people. It was a student body, if you will. We have in today's society around the world, I don't know about all of them, but I know in the States, we have things that have come from that time. The round table. It's a business model for meetings, groups of meetings. Chivalry, which is, unfortunately, it's really been suppressed, but chivalry was much, much more than what most people are being taught. Chivalry was, and the women's liberation movement, or whatever it's called, turned that. It changed it. On a side note, my good stepfather was a graduate from A&M University when it was a military school, all male military school. They were taught how to be soldiers. They were taught how to be warriors, but they were also taught how to be gentlemen. They were required to learn Emily Post's Book of Etiquette backwards. They were taught how a man should treat a woman. And it had nothing to do with women being an inferior species. It had everything to do with honoring the sacred feminine and the fact that there needed to be a balance. It had nothing to do with one being better, stronger, or than the other. It was a balance. It was to be a union. And this is what these warriors were taught. And they brought that into the U.S. society, and chivalry was a big thing for a while. And now sometimes I'll open the door for a woman and she gets upset about it, but it's not the purpose. The purpose is different now. So that's a side note. So just going back to Merlin in England, I read where your historians can't decide when or even if there was a King Arthur. What happened was when a conflicting force moved across that part of the world, Merlin's hid all of that stuff in the pages of history. There is a hint of the power of the Merlin. Until such time as they were needed again. I play with this at Texas Renaissance Festival. I show up as a character. And there's a thread of truth in it. I am Aquarius, High Druid Priest of the Order of Merlin. Welcome to my age.
That's lovely. When I lived in the UK, there was a legend about King Arthur that if England was to ever get into trouble again, then King Arthur and his knights would ride out of Glastonbury Tor to save the day. I think they need to come out now.
They're coming. Yeah, they're coming. But they're not riding out on horses.
No.
They're coming in the hearts of people.
Yeah.
This is where and you read in the Bible that Jesus is coming back.
Yeah.
And the angel said he's coming back the way he left, and everybody looks at the clouds and oh, he's going to come back from the clouds. No, he's coming back in a cloud of witnesses. Here.
Yeah.
This is where it's all coming back.
Yes.
And you know what you said? Sorry. And what you said, Ted, about chivalry, that's not a side note to me. I remember observing you and your chivalry, and there's so much strength and power and beauty in that. And it connects to the strength of the heart that you're talking about. And it takes that strength to be a warrior, to be a man. You know, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember you talking to me about how you were teaching the young men how to be chivalrous.
Yes. And at that place, you and I met at that event, the masculine energy was so almost overwhelming. It was just huge. And, and thanks to you, by the way, you were a part of my being able to bring in some of the feminine energy and help these corporate warriors recognize some of the value of that balancing with the feminine energy. And I don't know how successful I was at it, but because of you being there, helping me realize that, hey, you and I could work together. And we did. We played together. We worked together. We did magic together.
We did.
Awesome experience.
And it's so interesting that to be a feminine woman, a strong feminine woman, you need a strong male next to you. And vice versa. To be a strong male, you need a feminine woman next to you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I love chivalry. I wish that the young men now would be taught that. And that, you know, being the warrior, but also taking or looking after your family and woman as well, and the chivalry. I just think that's such a beautiful package in a man, that to have the whole. Reminds me of my dad, because he was like that. He was a very strong man, and we got to witness just a couple of times him at work having to show his strength and his warrior with some of the men at work, and then at home he was a real family man and very chivalrous and protective and fun and artistic. He was very artistic and played with the kids, you know. And that whole package in a man is just such a beautiful thing to actually see and have, when that man is fully connected to who they are, and they're not, if not afraid to express it. Yeah, it's wonderful. And the same with the woman, you know, being feminine, strong feminine woman.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah, it's bring it all back, I say.
If women could get back to that,
Yeah,
they've been lied to about the source of their power,
yeah,
and
yeah.
well, they can't help it. It doesn't have anything to do with education or brain power or smartness or anything. It all has to do with how the society has been manipulating everybody to put all that stuff down. And but women, like you say, when a woman recognizes her role, her power, and steps into that role, it's amazing. I mean, it's you get a group of men around, you know, and one or two women in there, and the men start with the off-color jokes and stuff like that. If a woman is in her power, she does nothing but just be.
Yeah.
You watch the energy of the men change.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, me too.
I probably shouldn't share that.
I got a little joke, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You know what? You know why God created woman last? To show man that you can improve on perfection.
Oh, goodness. I don't know that one is better than the other. I think it takes the two of us, the men and the women, to come together like this.
Yep.
You know, come together. The right hand and the left hand, they're not the same, but they fit perfectly. Yep. And that enables us to stand tall and powerful, as we're meant to be.
But to get there, we all come into this life one way or the other. We go through life and we accumulate baggage. According to the law of attraction, what are we going to attract? We're going to attract somebody else with baggage.
That's right. That's right.
We're going to attract them, and we're going to come together, and we're going to create the illusion of a relationship, but it's a codependent relationship. So, and we break up, and we're right back where we were, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it again, and we're going to do it again. We wonder why we keep attracting the same people in our lives. Yeah. The idea is to unpack our baggage.
Yeah.
Get it down to, well, at least one carry-on. And now you've got to attract. And there is where you create a union.
Yes, we both need to be whole and healed so that we can stand upright and not be bent and crooked.
Yeah. Yes.
I get that with some clients that have come to see me over the years that are wanting a relationship, mainly women. And I've said to them, first of all, I've said, actually, do you really want one? Because some women are top business women, and they want company is what they want, rather than a full-on relationship, I feel. But anyway, I've sort of said to people, first of all, you know, before you go searching for a partner, make sure that yourself is clear, you've risen your frequency up, you're beaming out that light and that energy and that frequency of abundance and, you know, passion and all of that stuff. Then you'll attract someone of the same like, which is who you're probably going to really gel with more so than if you know, go into it without clearing out yourself and sussing out what you actually really want and everything else. And it's so true. It is so true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you both are artists, and Ted, you've got behind you one of your art pieces.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
Oh, okay. Well, I work with the energy of color. I do aura portraits, I do intentional mandalas, manifestation mandalas, and things like that. And color is like a language to me. So sometimes I will sit and I will meditate and ask the universe, what would divine love look like? What would inspiration, the energy of inspiration look like? And then I wait, and like the sumi-e artist in Japan, they meditate over their tools and they meditate until they know what they're going to paint. And then they move into that process. And I do the same thing. This piece behind me is the energy of inspiration. It's what got me to the TED Talk stage. That I was in Houston, Texas, north of Houston, Texas, a community called the Woodlands, and they had an art group there, an art gallery there, and I was a member of it. And they were familiar with my work. One day I get a call, hey, the TED Talks are coming to the college here, and they've given us permission to set up an art display in the lobby. And we thought your artwork would be really great for it because the theme of their talk is kaleidoscope mind. So I said, sure, I'd love to. So we show up there. I come early. I help them set up all the easels and everything, get all set up and everything. And this piece is 4 feet by 4 feet. And it was in my car, and I waited for the last to bring it in. And I had a place reserved for it. So the lobby's starting to fill up with people. They're about to start the event pretty soon. And I'm making my way through the crowd, and a woman says, oh my God, that is so beautiful. Do you mind if we put that on stage? Yeah, I'm sure. It's okay with me. Boy, she waved her arms. People came out. They took it away from me. They parked the crowd like Moses in the Red Sea. I opened the door, go into the auditorium. Huge stage, huge auditorium. They've got a drop-down screen that's as big as a 40-foot truck that you see on the highway. And it's on the right. Let's see, there's the podium. There's some artwork that some students did for the event. She said, I want this over there. And if people with, you know, they're like, well, we're about to start, you know, but she was queen bee, man. Whatever she said went. They put it on an easel over there to the right of the big screen. And she didn't like that. So she waves her hands and somebody produces black duct tape. They duct tape the easel. They put it on the easel. And I don't know if I can share my screen or not. I've got a picture of it. Anyway, to the right of the big screen where the speakers would sit was this circle appearing to float in front of the black background to the right of that screen. And from the angle that a lot of the photographs were taken, the speakers were where I am in relationship to the artwork. So they get all this stuff done. And they come over here and, oh, thank you so much for letting us use your artwork. What's your name? Ted. The reaction was priceless. Tell us about your artwork. So I tell them, I work with the energy of color, da, 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 da. And this piece is the energy of inspiration. And it found its way to your stage without me doing anything. The reaction was amazing. They at first they were just stunned, and then the light went on, and then I got an invitation to come and do a TED Talk.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
That's the energy of inspiration. That's what I work with. The energy of comfort.
So the inspiration, is it the inspiration that took the painting to the stage without you doing anything?
Right.
You've also got a book out,
Yes.
The Magic of Wonder. So how exactly does that work? Can you tell us what you need to do to get to be on a TED Talk? How do you do the magic?
I painted this piece. It represents the energy of inspiration. It's there to inspire people. It inspired them to want to put it on their stage. It inspired them to walk over and ask me about me. And that's kind of how it works.
So being in that energy of inspiration, is that what enables things in the world?
Yep. Yeah. The energy of inspiration. We're a world of energy. Everything is energy. Everything. So how do we work with that energy? We can just let everything happen by default, or we can intend for things to happen. Like
My
firewalks.
thoughts.
When we do firewalks, we set an intention. Ice cold fire, gentle breezes, clear skies. Clear skies, no rain. Gentle breezes, no high winds, and an ice cold fire. And we get it. We get it.
Yeah.
I can tell you stories from master firewalking instructors all over the world that has had nature cooperate with our events in a just a magnificent, impossible way. Stopping winds at the last minute, stopping a storm at the last minute, causing a hurricane to change course so that we can have an event.
And that is through intention.
Yes, ma'am. It's all about intention. It's all about communicating with the universe. If I'm out there at the fire and the weather is threatening the event, I will have a heart-to-heart conversation. I will sing my soul song. I will sing my soul song to the universe. And it just fills your heart with gratitude so much and so big, you can't stand it. You're going to sing, you're going to speak, you're going to dance, you're going to do whatever you do that it just fills you up and you can't contain it anymore. And you explain to the universe, we've got this event going on. There's people here that are going to change their lives. And when they change their lives, the people around them will change their lives. Then their community will change, their city will change, their world will change. So if it's possible, understanding that the universe has to do what it has to do when it has to do it, but if it's possible that you can arrange things so that we can have a really successful event, wow, we will all celebrate. Hurricanes.
And it's also done not only in warm regions like Texas, it's also done in places like England and Scotland where it rains a lot.
Yes.
Hardly ever do you need to cancel a fire walk. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
We've done it out in the field, haven't we? With intention, we've created clear skies.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do when we do CE5, connecting to the ETs. But I want to hear about your soul song. Tell us about soul song.
Oh, okay. I taught the group this past weekend about soul song. And I told them the story of the Cancun event, for one. After the event the next day, I went down to the shoreline and to sing your soul song. It's all about gratitude. What are you thankful for? Start small. Work your way up, but start small. Oh, so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful for my opportunity to be here. So grateful for the wildlife and the sea and the air and the clouds and the people that know me and the people that I know. And oh, I'm just so grateful. I just feel so wonderful. It's just so amazing how I get to move through life and have these wonderful experiences with these wonderful people. Only the best people show up in my life. Only the most honest, most trustworthy people show up in my life. I am so grateful for my health. I enjoy perfect health all the time. That's singing your soul song. When I
Mhm.
stopped, when I stopped and I turned and I started to walk away, there was a gentleman over there who, as I passed, I said hello, and he said, wait, just a minute. I've been watching you over there. What were you doing?" And I told him what I've just told you. And I said, and I'm surprised because dolphins and whales are telepathic and they know my song. They hear my song, and they usually show up to celebrate with me. And oh, and he says, "Oh, you mean like the pod of dolphins out there now?"
Oh,
There
awesome.
you go.
Yeah. So do you actually sing? Do you have a tune that goes with it? Do you speak out loud?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
all the time. And it changes all the time.
Mm.
It's
Because
not
they
something
do say when we speak out loud, and even especially if it's in song, they do say that it's much more powerful.
Definitely.
the most powerful is this is where the power is. The rest of it is an exclamation, a demonstration, an expression of that power that's in here. It may show up as just waving my arms. It might show up as laughter. I might get the tickles and can't stop laughing. I might, have words that I don't understand, but somehow they make a difference. They encourage me and the dolphins and stuff like that. And it'll express itself, and you just let go. You concentrate on this part. You concentrate on filling your heart with gratitude and appreciation. Gratitude and appreciation, similar energies, different but similar. Those can be the two wings that lift you above adversity, worry, concern. Fly, fly, fill your heart with gratitude and appreciation.
And
Lovely.
gratitude means it's already done. Right?
Yes,
We're not asking for something, we're not praying for something, it's already done.
good point. Thank you. Exactly.
I've found with soul singing that when you sing from that space, it creates a bubble of energy that comes out like a big toroidal field that just connects with absolutely everything.
Mhm.
And I would just wanted to come back to your beautiful painting that is behind you. And for anyone who's creative, who wants to connect with the universe, it's in that sitting before you start and being silent and connecting and asking, what would this look like if I did this? That is speaking to the universe in that energy, that vibration. And then the inspiration comes through you from your higher self or from the universe or whatever anyone would like to call it. And the same with the soul singing. It's coming out from that place of connection to soul, and then it connects to everything around you, including all people, all animals, trees, the plants.
Mhm.
And it actually is just such a wonderful feeling when you do it, but also a wonderful connection, because you feel connected to everything, don't you, when you're actually in that space, like you're one with everything. It really is beautiful, and it's so nice that you can express yourself, your soul, through the voice. I love doing it. Love doing it. It's beautiful.
Well, that's the inspiration for my first book, The Magic of Wonder. Wonder is our superpower that we take for granted,
Yeah.
but it all begins with wonder. So
Yes.
with your soul song, Wondering,
Mhm.
in my book, there's the chapter called The Breakfast of Champions, where I use the soul song idea to help people start their day and have a better day.
Yeah.
First thing you do before you open your eyes in the morning, start saying thank you,
Mm.
thank you, thank you. Just repeat it until something comes into your mind that, oh, I can be thankful for that or this or that. And
Yeah.
the more thankful you are, the more gratitude you can generate. Oh, I'm so grateful for this. I'm so grateful for that. And then you can bring in the manifestation part of it, go into the future and imagine
Mm.
the circumstances you want to experience. Put in as much detail. What are you hearing? What are you seeing? See what you see, hear what you see, feel what you feel. The feeling is the secret. When it's so feeling so great and so wonderful, then you want to try to remember to end it with this or something better. And
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you, if you do that, you will not be able to stay in bed. You will be getting out of bed and you will be so excited about the day that there's just nothing what's going to show up for you.
That's awesome.
I just want to bring up a question that came in the chat. Hi, Rob. Great to see that you're there. And Rob is asking, have you ever looked at Lloyd Canning's artwork? He also gets inspiration for his work.
He's amazing, Lloyd Canning. Love his artwork.
Okay, I've got no idea.
No, no, I'm not familiar with that artist. I'll look him up.
Mm.
Yeah. So we've talked about the things that are magical, like inspiration, imagination, um, gratitude, love, being in a state of wonder. Now you've written an absolutely beautiful book. It's a perfect book to gift to people. Magic of Wonder.
Mhm.
Can you share something very special from that book with us?
Something very special.
Well, I know it's all special, but what would you pick to share with us from that book?
Well, I actually just did that chapter, The Breakfast of Champions. If you do nothing else, you can take that one chapter out of that book, put it into practice, and I promise you, your life will change. Things will get better for you. It's magic, magic
Yeah.
with a K, not magic with a C. Magic with a C is all about illusions and things like that. And magic with a K is about sorcery, source-ary.
Yeah.
You got it? Source-ary. Working with source. Yeah,
Yes.
that'll fix you. And there's some other stuff in the book too. I've condensed more than 20 years worth of experience and two near-death experiences and a bunch of other stuff. And I just wanted something simple and easy for people to get a hold of instead of thinking they have to travel to the Himalayan mountains and sit at the foot of a guru here or this or that or all this. It doesn't have to be that hard.
Well, you had near-death experiences. How hard is that? Did that help you in finding the way to make it easy? Or how did that change you?
It gave me the ability to see auras. It gave me the knowledge of being able to capture a snapshot of a person's aura and be able to interpret the colors that are in there. Um, helping me to guide people to rediscover their strength, embrace their true potential, and step into a life of purpose and wonder.
Mhm.
And I was drug into it kicking and screaming because I was raised in the Bible Belt in the US, and uh, all this psychic stuff and all this magic stuff, that was like, that was for books and fairy tales and had nothing to do with reality. And then I'm slapped in the face with a wet mop and going, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I can do this kind of stuff. Really, I was as blocked as anybody. I say 2 near-death experiences and 3 divorces, 2 divorces, 3 near-death experiences and 2 divorces should add up to 5 near-death experiences. So I've had a lot of practice starting over from scratch, starting over from nothing. Uh, the
Okay, so
last near-death experience was the one that really got my attention, really downloaded a lot of information for me. And I wanted to share it so that people wouldn't have to go through what I had to go through to get what I got.
tell us about that one.
What's that?
Tell us about that near-death experience and how you got that download and what the message was, please.
Okay. Well, I've been practicing for a long time the power of the mind. And I started out life as a sickly child. I was the runt of the litter, and I was sick all the time, and it wasn't a real good experience. Coupled with the nickname Teddy, which might as well have been Sue. Uh, didn't have a anyway. But I learned about self-talk, and so I started practicing self-talk and improved my health to the point where I enjoy perfect health all the time. People around me get the flu. I don't. They don't understand why. I try to explain to those that are willing to know, but it's self-talk. So one time we had a fire walk at the training center that was near where I lived, and an Indian Lakota medicine woman was the one that would come and help facilitate these nippy sweat lodges. It's an all-day event. A lot of prayer ties, a lot of prayer, a lot of intention goes into it, and they are intense, very intense. So we had a fire walk, and then the next evening we had this sweat lodge. I came out of it, and the fire master there said, Ted, you feel okay? Oh, yeah, John, why? He said, man, your energy field is all gray. I've never seen that on you before. I don't know, John. I feel great. This was Sunday night. I was selling Aflac insurance at that time, having just recovered from a major, devastating divorce. So I was starting over again. And I had appointments the next day. I had interviews. I had a lot of stuff to do. Monday morning, as I began to wake up, my throat was so inflamed, it was difficult for me to breathe, much less speak. There was no way I could call in sick. My voice just was done. There was no way it was going to happen. And I had a fever. I could tell I had a fever, but I was into this mindset that, oh, well, I never get sick. This is going to pass in a few hours. No problem. Let me put a point right there. I'm going to back up about 3 days. The previous Wednesday, in my selling of insurance, one of the people told me she was a life path coach. I thought, yeah, I could probably use some life path coaches. So I made an appointment with her. So on that Wednesday, I go to her office, and she starts out, and pretty real quick, I realize she's a psychic life path coach. And I'm like, I think I hear my mama calling me. I don't think this is going to work. But she kept saying stuff about me that she had no way of knowing, no way of knowing. And she said, you know, your life is out of order because you're a creative person. You came here to do that. You've gotten out of touch with it, and it's not going to get straightened up until you get back in touch with it. She didn't know I had a previous life as a commercial artist and a very successful commercial art. Got burned out, lost my marriage, lost everything, packed it up, and left it 12 years before I'm sitting in her office. And so that she said, you got 9 spirit guides and they're frustrated because they can't come to me. You're not paying attention. And when I left there, I'm thinking, boy, that was a waste of money. So now we go back to the firewalk. That evening, the next morning, I can't function. So I'm like, okay, spirit guides, what you got? I ain't going nowhere. This ain't gonna happen. So whatever you got now is the best time. Hit me up. And I'm thinking, well, maybe the television will come on with a pastor that'll have a message for me, or magic writing will appear on the wall. And I didn't get any of that. But I got a dream. In the dream, I was painting for a crowd of people that you could cover a football field with. Standing in front of an easel that I had bought at a clearance sale a few months before, thinking, oh, I'll get back into my artwork. And it's sat in the closet the whole time. Now it's in the dream. And I'm painting, and my arm is animated in the dream. There's this energy moving my hand on the brush, and I'm painting these colored circles, and I'm handing them to people. And people are looking at them, and they're connecting with spirituality. They're getting uplifts about spiritual stuff. They're getting clarity about messages. Arms are growing back. This is a dream. Things happen in a dream. From the painting came out, looked like Egyptian urns, the big jars with the 2 handles on them, and they were going through my eyeballs, and they were stacked on shelves in the back. It was later that I would find out what that meant. So I get to feeling better. I don't know where I was. I remember the windows getting light and dark, and I was just gone. And I was gone for almost a week and a half, laying there.
On your own?
All alone, lived alone, house locked up. Even if somebody knew, that they would have had to get a fireman to tear the door down to get my house. But I was gone. I was just gone. So when I did get feeling well enough to get somebody to get me to the doctor, I got to the doctor, and the doctor checks me all over, and she says, you should be dead. And I said, what do you mean? And why should I be dead? She said, people in your age bracket that live alone, that get the worst case of strep throat she'd ever seen, bronchitis, and pneumonia, die in their sleep. You should be dead. So I took that as a near-death experience. Get out back to the fire tribe around the fireside, and I'm sharing this dream, and people are going, that sounds like something you ought to do. And I said, no, it doesn't. No, no, it doesn't. No. I can fly like Superman in my dreams, but you're not going to watch me jump off a tall building out here. That stuff is dream stuff. Well, they kept after me, and one lady that I had a lot of respect for convinced me to do something with it. So I did. I got on the phone. I called a place in Houston, Texas called Centerpoint, the new age facility that converted an old home and into workshops and stuff like that. And I said, do you have any events coming up? She said, yes, we have a psychic fair coming up, about a week. Oh, man, what am I getting into here? Well, I want to rent a booth. She said, okay, what do you do? I wish I would have recorded that conversation, because I'm trying to explain to this lady that I see colors around people and I paint them, and she's going to hang up on me any minute. I know that. No, she didn't hang up on me. She squealed. She said, oh, you paint soul portraits. I'm like, they got a name for this? I was in the Twilight Zone. Absolutely in the Twilight Zone. And I rolled my tongue back in. And I said, oh, okay, let's say I paint soul portraits. Oh, you got to come. We used to have a lady here that did it. She was so popular, she's moved away. You got to come. You got to come. Okay. All right, I'll be there. So, man, I don't know what to do next. I pack up my stuff. I go at the appointed day. They give me a place out in the yard under a pretty colorful umbrella. And I just set it up like the dream. Everything was exactly like the dream. They can't see what I'm painting. They sit over there and they're looking at me, but I'm behind the easel. The first lady that came up there, I'm painting away. I'm waiting actually. I got a brush, I got some paint, and I'm waiting for the electricity. I'm waiting for the for the all that stuff, it wasn't nothing happened. So I just started moving some color around on paper and doing best I could, and all of a sudden I get this bolt of energy through my arm, and it did some stuff, made a design in the colors, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I said it out loud, but I thought I was saying it to myself. I wonder where that came from. I showed it to the lady. The lady looks at it. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. But when I sat down here, I was watching you and your energy and paying attention to my energy. And there's something in my life that's got a lot of energy around it that thought went right through my head. The moment you said, where did that come from? And I'm just curious, is it that part right there? And she put her finger right in that part, not having seen me paint that thing. I still get chill bumps over that. She walking around with it, people lined up. I couldn't paint for everybody that day. I go home. I'm like, okay, universe, this is how this is going to work. I'm going to tell you how this is going to work. I'm going to show up, and that's all I'm going to do. You're going to do the rest of it. Like I'm making deals with the universe, right? In my infancy. So I started showing up. Pretty soon, the entire metaphysical community of Houston knew about this guy painting these circular soul portraits. Within a couple of years, I had him in 4 states in the US. A few more years, I had him in 8 countries on 4 continents. I had been commissioned to do one for ex-President Obama's half-sister with no advertising. No advertising. I've sat across from people, average, everyday landscapers, housewives, all the way up to CEOs of multi-million-dollar corporations. And when the reading is done, we're both in tears, and they're telling me how much I've changed their life. And so that's did that answer your question?
Well, I've got more and more questions. The ability to see auras, did that come in that near-death week?
In that dream, yes, ma'am.
In that dream. After that, you could see the colors.
The fever was so high, I lost the hearing of my left ear, and I saw colors around people. And I thought the fever had affected my vision. But no, it hadn't. It had opened up my vision. And everybody can do this. Everybody can do it.
Can we do it without the near-death experience?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I mean, I've had my near-death experiences, but I'm still not painting.
Well, this was for me and for my experience, and it was given to me as a gift that I would be able to share with people to help them to, invite them into the world where secrets are unearthed and wisdom is revealed, and every chapter.
Ted, this is an amazing story. It's not a story, it's an experience. This experience of coming into what you're meant to be, even though you're resisting, and then not needing any advertisement. I observe these people. I've had so many people say to me, "Oh, you should do marketing here and marketing there," and it doesn't feel right to me. I wouldn't even know how to really do it.
I had a lot of people come to me in the beginning is, you need to get this book on the meaning of colors and this book on the meaning of colors. And I politely thanked them very much. And I would turn around and go, no, If this is from source, I don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Good on you. That's great. It's coming from me, from the heart,
Mm-hmm.
from the heart of you, from the heart of source.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you say anybody, everybody can do this, I know
Yeah.
that's true.
Mm-hmm.
What's the path for everybody to connect to source in such a strong way that they just are forced to do what they're meant to do?
You know, that's start by shifting your perspective. Start with wonder. Ask yourself simple questions. I wonder what it would look like if I could see somebody's aura. I wonder what that would look like. And wait. Go about your day and wait and see what shows up for you. And if it doesn't show up for you, you can go back to the wonder page and say, well, I wonder what I can do. I wonder how I can change my thoughts. I wonder what would be the next right thing for me to do that would open me up enough that I would be able to see auras around people. When you open up like that, you give the universe opportunity to show up for you.
Mm.
Does that help?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like if we're demanding something or asking for something, it doesn't mean that we're actually open for it.
That's right.
We need to have a desire, I think, a desire, and that's expressed when we say, "I wonder what it would be like."
Yeah.
It expresses that desire.
It's almost like planting a seed, saying that I wonder what it would be like. You're
Yes.
planting the seed to the universe, and then it will slowly grow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's the magic of wonder.
Mm.
Yeah, your book, The Magic of Wonder. Did you also have such a life-changing experience during your first near-death experience?
No, actually, I didn't. It was a near fatal car crash, and I knew the moment the crash happened. The next moment, I was there were creatures, uh, human shaped beings around me, and they were pointing at me, and I could hear their thoughts, but I didn't understand the language, and I didn't understand at all what was going on. But the main thing, the life-changing takeaway for me was you can't take it with you. All this material stuff, it's just stuff.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you drop this robe, all that's going to stay here. Well, what are you going to take with you? What are you going to take with you when you drop your robe?
Mm.
So these beings that were there, these humanoids, how many were there? What did they look like? Do you think they were your guides? That's three questions in one. I know one should never ask a multiple choice question. I
Yeah,
did it anyway.
that's a good question. It's a good multiple choice question. They were humanoid. They had no features. In other words, I couldn't see specific eye colors or eyebrows. They were hairless. Um, they had two legs, two arms, a body, and a head, and some indication of features, facial features, but nothing I could pin down. And it was just, oh, the feeling was amazing. It was just, and I was injured. I was really, really badly injured, and I felt no pain at all. It was peace, very, very peaceful. And then I heard this moaning. I heard somebody moaning, and it was like what you would hear in a Hollywood movie. It was just and I thought, man, that person is really in pain. And in a few moments passed, and I realized that was me moaning. That I broken ribs, punctured lung. It was pretty nasty. Yeah. And then the pain came on, and it was painful. Yeah. But that was an interesting experience. But the takeaway was, and that changed me because I was young, I was married, I have a first child on the way, credit out the wazoo, and I was in the commercial part of that, what's expected of you. And man, after that, I let stuff go back to the creditors and just offloaded all that stuff. You want to come to my house and visit with me? If you don't want to sit on the floor, you can stand against the wall. Until I got, I didn't have credit for a long time, years. I didn't had no credit. Didn't want it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And these beings, do you have that sense of peace? Do you think there was a specific relationship you have with them?
Well, at the time, I would not have been able to answer your question, but looking back on it now, it was a feeling of being one with them. I didn't feel separate from them. It was a oneness. It was a unity. It was a joining. It was we're all in this thing together, kind of everybody's connected to everybody. Maybe that's where the peace was coming from.
Yeah.
Quite possibly, yeah. That's the idea, the feeling that there was no disconnect.
Yeah.
It's a very peaceful, very releasing feeling. I've had that experience using plant medicines.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't recommend plant medicines unless you have a thorough understanding and relationship with your guide. There's people out there that are capitalizing on the popularity of this ayahuasca and other plant medicines that have no business doing it.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of microdosing with GMO plants happening now. It's very hard to find pure plants, and the abuse is huge. And in my understanding, from everything I understood, is that the shaman is the one who takes the plant, and he does that in a life and death situation. You don't do it like you'd be drinking beer, because then it just ends up being like the Oktoberfest. And
Yeah.
I've seen that actually in the Amazon jungle. I was invited, and what I saw was reminiscent of the Oktoberfest in Munich. And yeah, so one has to be very, very careful. And of course, everybody says their way is the right way. And yet I know it's not to be taken lightly, especially these days. I'm here in Africa, where they have iboga, which is quite another depth of plant. So yeah, I fully agree with you, Ted, there.
Yeah, it's not something to play with. It really isn't.
No.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I was at a time in my life where I knew people that drop a hit or two of acid and go to a concert. I'd go out into the woods and drop eight or 10 buttons of mushrooms and try to find the face of God. So I didn't. It's not an entertainment. It's certainly not.
Yeah. Wow.
That was amazing.
Did we cover everything? everything? I suppose not. There's no way of covering
But
everything.
I think we could talk for ages.
And yeah, yes. That's my favorite time with the firewalking instructors. You know, these like this past event, I was invited to come there with this information.
Mhm.
I'm my fireside talks. This is where the first day, the students were having a lot of difficulty. Second, I think that night, one time or another, I got a time to sit down with them and talk to them about how to connect with an elemental force of nature, what it is to be connected to what it is to be guided by elemental forces of nature. And that changed everything for them. Man, next thing you know, they're dancing on the fire, they're laughing and giggling, and that's my part.
Would you like to share a little bit more? We touched on that in the beginning of becoming one with the flame and becoming one with the fire. Can you expand a little bit for us?
Okay. Well, it's sure, I'd be happy to, but
Great.
it's going to go back to the heart, back to the soul song. When you sing your soul song, the universe is listening. All the creatures, all the plants, all the animals, they're all listening to that. The fire will listen to that. When you approach the fire, you don't have to have an invitation from the fire to be able to have a successful life-changing experience with Firewalk. But this adds another dimension to that process.
Yeah.
When you approach the fire, well, you need to understand that elemental forces of nature are not like humans. Humans are liars and deceit, not all, but humans can lie and deceit and not tell you the truth and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't even, elemental forces of nature are pure and true. And if the fire invites you to walk on the fire is not going to burn you. Now, having said that, I will say this, the fire may give you a fire kiss. The fire is your teacher. I'm just there to facilitate, teach you how to connect with the fire so that the fire can now be your teacher. And the fire will do it in a way that is perfect for you. I bring to the firewalks a reflexology chart of the foot. So if somebody gets a little fire kiss, I encourage them, check it on this chart right here. There may be something that you need to tend to in your physical body that the fire is aware of. But to get the invitation, there's different ways to get the invitation. Invitations are very personal, but there's a way that I teach people. Here's what you can do when you get out to the fire. And with these fires, for me, it's always a round fire, a circular fire. But in this case, it was a path. I said, when y'all get out there to the path, find your place along there, whatever it feels like might be your place, and send gratitude to the wood for giving itself for your adventure. Gratitude for the fire that's there before you, and start singing your soul song to the fire. You might feel a pull, like you might almost fall into the fire. Well, don't give in to that. Wait a minute. If it's truly from not your ego, but from the fire inviting you, the fire will confirm it by giving you a nudge from the back. If that happens, do not hesitate. Go.
Yeah.
And when you go, and when you've made this connection with fire, you have fire in you. Every cell, when it's going through its metabolic process, gives off energy, fire. So now, because you have created this relationship with fire, the fire can be your teacher from now on. It will ignite that little voice inside you, that same little voice that tells you you got a glass of water and you're in a hurry and you're gonna set it over here on the side of this table and you're gonna go take this, and a little voice says, "Don't do that. It's gonna get knocked off and spilled." But you ignore the voice. You do it anyway. You go over there. Sure enough, somebody comes along, bumps the table, it gets knocked off and spilled. How does a little voice know that? Well, that's subject for another discussion. So your relationship with fire has now become your teacher. What we do at the firewalk is how we do everything.
Yeah.
Fear is a curtain. There's a curtain of fear between you and that fire. Once you take the first step through that curtain, the curtain falls away and you're on your way. You're going to take one step right after the other until you're done with it. Take that into your life. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of asking for a raise at work? You're afraid of asking a girlfriend your relationship? What are you afraid of? Remember the firewalk. Let's go back. What'd you do? You walked on fire. Human flesh melts at less than 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you walked on something that would be measured at 700 to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, and you got a little fire kiss out of it. You didn't melt. You didn't die. If the power of your mind can manipulate the physiology of your body to the point where it can resist the heat of 1200 degrees and not melt you, what else are you capable of?
Yeah.
What else have you been thinking it's in your way?
And it's, when we teach these firewalks, we have a way of anchoring that into people, but many people do firewalks and they completely forget about that energy.
Yeah. Or don't even know about it.
Don't know about it. Yeah. Just walking. Yeah. So this is why I'm so grateful to the Firewalking Institute for teaching it in that way, where we really anchor in that energy. Yeah.
Well, I've never done it.
You haven't?
No, never. No, I have with the pain thing. I cut my hand really badly once, and with the power of my mind, I actually took the pain away. I remember doing that, going, "That's nothing. It doesn't hurt." And even though it was dripping with blood, it didn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've managed to do that. But no, firewalking, I've never done it.
Well,
you'll have to come down to my place. We'll do one.
I would love to do that.
Okay.
I'm coming too.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
A lot of people around here asking me when we're going to have the next firewalk. So it's going to happen. I'm just not exactly sure when yet.
Wow.
You're in Mexico right now, aren't you?
Correct.
Yeah.
Lake Chapala.
That might be on my itinerary soon. I'll let you know.
Okay.
If it does happen.
Lake Chapala, Mexico is touted as having the second best weather for human habitation on the planet.
Wow.
Yep. It's amazing. It really is amazing. We are a lake at 5,000 feet above sea level, surrounded by mountains, creates a very unique weather pattern here.
Wow.
The expat community is growing because of that, for one. But there was one of the major gurus back, I don't know, this goes way back into the 60s, 70s possibly, who visited Lake Chapala. And there's a photograph of him on one of the boats out there teaching. And he prophesied that Lake Chapala would become one of the spiritual centers on the planet.
Wow.
10 years ago, I moved here 10 years ago, and there was one yoga studio, maybe 2 or 3 massage therapists. It was just really skimpy if you wanted to find some kind of spirit, a lot of artists and some spiritual artists. Now, 10 years in the future, we have a ton of spiritual people here. We've got yoga studios, we've got teachers of this, we've got teachers of that, we've got art lessons for healing art. We've got, it has exploded.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Visit me. Come on. We'll try to keep you out of trouble. No guarantees, but we'll try. It's nice here. Really, there's it's estimated that the expat community here numbers in the tens of thousands. That's the people that own property here. In the high season, which is now, that could swell to 20 or 30,000. And
Wow.
which really makes it difficult for the people that are not in business, but really celebrated by the people who are in business, because that's a lot of money coming into the community.
Mm.
This year's our high season is really low because we're hearing reports that so many people have not been able to come here because they're taking care of somebody who's sick or they're sick.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've got roughly 2/3 of the people that we usually have.
Wow. Wow.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ted, we'll have to talk privately about this.
Okay. Let's do.
So thank you so much, Ted. This has been very enlightening, and I'm sure very, very helpful. And this talk will be up for years and years and years to come.
Good.
Thank you for making the time. Thank you for sharing so generously.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
well, thank you for letting us use your song. And I know we're going to have you on very soon together with Sangrita.
Hey, yes, we're gonna be together. Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All righty.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Very welcome, very welcome, very welcome.
Let me see. Where do I do this? Here we go. Yes. Ginny, do you have anything? It was. Is there anything else you want to share or complete the call?
I can pull a few cards if you like. You can do that. Let's just do one for everybody. That was absolutely wonderful and refreshing, very refreshing.
Yes, an amazing human being with wonderful messages.
Yeah. And a very interesting life.
Yes.
I love the art. It's given me inspiration to get more arty.
Good, wonderful, because you're a wonderful artist too. Yeah.
Thank you. Right, we'll pull a card for everybody. Oh, okay, we've got weight. So when the weight comes up, that tells me you don't need to rush anything. We just go with the flow at the moment because there's a lot of things happening in the timelines. And just spend time just flowing. Don't push anything. Just live. Be joyful as you move along, and eventually things will come in to show you the path forward. There we are.
Goodness, thank you. It's when I do something called the psychic circle, I get weight so often.
Yeah.
So often. It's always weight.
Yeah.
Wait.
I've been getting it too a lot. Don't push anything, just wait. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that we're not being shown yet, more than we understand at the moment, and that we'll just go with the flow and live through life, and then eventually we'll get given the nudge when it's time to make some moves or to, do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, even work-wise, I'm like, no, just don't push it. Just flow through life at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just cannot push the river.
No.
And if you think of our life as streams of consciousness, we cannot push those streams of consciousness.
Yeah.
We have to flow with them. We can navigate.
Yeah.
But we can't, like the canoe in the river, it cannot push the river. It can navigate the river.
Absolutely. I mean, and we can put out into our future what Ted was saying as well. Imagine and feel everything that you would like to unfold in your life, but then you sit and wait.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Ginny, it's been wonderful seeing you again,
And
talking to
you.
you. Many greetings to you and all my friends in New Zealand, and I'm looking forward to next month.
Yeah, and me too. And lots of love to you, Una.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Ginny.
you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Love to
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Yes. Thank you for
Bye.
being there. Bye.